Harriet Tubman was born in the early 1820s in Dorchester County, Maryland, into a world of slavery and hardship. Her birth name was Araminta Ross, and she was the daughter of enslaved parents Harriet Green and Ben Ross. From childhood, Harriet experienced the cruel realities of slavery. She was forced to work long hours in fields and in homes of slave owners, and she endured physical abuse that left deep scars on her body and spirit. One terrible injury came when an overseer struck her head with a heavy object, causing lifelong health problems, including sudden fainting spells and severe headaches. Yet even with these struggles, Harriet grew strong in faith, determination, and courage. As a child, Harriet did not receive formal education, but she developed wisdom through life experience and through stories and lessons shared by her family. She listened to the voices of elders who spoke of freedom and of the pain of captivity. These teachings planted in her the dream of a life beyond chains. Harriet was deeply spiritual, and she felt guided by God in many of the choices she made throughout her life. Her faith became a source of strength that never wavered, even in moments of danger. When Harriet became a young woman, she was married to John Tubman, a free black man. Though her husband was free, Harriet herself remained enslaved, and this tension in her life increased her desire for liberty. In 1849, fearing that she would soon be sold away from her family, she made the bold decision to escape. With courage in her heart and very little to guide her, she began a journey north. Traveling mostly at night and guided by the North Star and secret signals left by friendly people, she managed to reach Pennsylvania. For the first time in her life, she tasted freedom, and she later said that she felt like she was in heaven. But Harriet could not remain satisfied with her own freedom while so many of her loved ones remained in bondage. She made the decision to return south again and again to rescue others. This was an act of extraordinary bravery, because the risk of capture was constant and punishments for helping runaways were severe. Harriet became one of the most famous conductors of the Underground Railroad, a secret network of safe houses and people who helped enslaved individuals escape to freedom in the northern states and Canada. She led small groups through forests, rivers, and swamps, moving quietly by night and resting in hidden places by day. Her leadership and courage earned her the nickname Moses because, like the biblical figure, she led her people to freedom. Over the years, Harriet rescued not only members of her own family, but also many strangers. It is said that she made at least 13 missions and guided around 70 people to freedom, though she also gave instructions and advice that helped many more. She never lost a single passenger, as she called those who traveled with her. Her methods were strict and her determination unshakable. She carried a pistol both to protect against slave catchers and to keep fear from breaking the resolve of those she was guiding. She knew that hesitation could mean disaster, and she would not allow anyone to turn back and risk the safety of the group. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, Harriet Tubman's courage found a new path. She worked for the Union Army, first as a nurse caring for soldiers and freed slaves, and later as a scout and spy. She provided valuable intelligence about Confederate positions and helped guide raids that freed hundreds of enslaved people. One of her most remarkable contributions was leading the Combahee River Raid in South Carolina, where she worked with Union troops to liberate more than 700 enslaved men, women, and children in a single night. This made her one of the few women in American history to lead an armed expedition during that time. After the war, Harriet returned to Auburn, New York, where she had settled earlier. Though she had lived a life of bravery and service, she faced poverty in her later years. Still, she continued to help others. She opened her home to those in need, including orphans and the elderly. She worked alongside activists who fought for the rights of women and African Americans, and she became a symbol of resistance and compassion. Harriet also supported the women's suffrage movement, believing that women deserved the right to vote and to shape the future of the nation. Harriet Tubman passed away in 1913 at the age of around 90. At the time of her death, she was honored as a true hero of freedom. She was buried with military honors for her service in the Civil War. Her life story became one of the most powerful examples of courage, faith, and resilience in American history. Harriet had been born enslaved, denied education, and scarred by violence. Yet she rose above all barriers to change the lives of countless people and to leave a legacy that continues to inspire generations. Today, Harriet Tubman is remembered not only as the conductor of the Underground Railroad, but also as a fighter for justice, a soldier, a nurse, and an advocate for human rights. Her image and her name have become symbols of the struggle for equality and freedom. Her story reminds us that even in the face of oppression, one person with faith and determination can make a difference that echoes across centuries.